Of course there's coffee. Of course there is. So, today I am out scouting for ice lines, and the ice lines are up there. So I rode my awesome e-bike up here. It's a perfect scouting machine, and now I'm about to go on in there and identify the lines, or particularly so that I can go over the top and see some good top roping anchors, because much as I like the sensations of ice climbing, I really don't like being that scared anymore. So I'm going to see if we can find some safe play, or safer play area along here. Plus, it's just really nice to be out and have a little purpose to my perambulations. It's this typical in-betweeny weather, so I've got some little grippers on my feet. These are the best ones I've found so far for general purpose snow and ice and rock, and not too deep profile, so that you can just wear them also on slippy grass and stuff. These things are great. Love them very much. So let's see, having a cup of coffee, and then we're gonna go in there. Let's see what it gives. So we're starting to get into that area now. It is quite steep here, so the key thing is to basically make sure you have 3 points of contact, but also just have something in the fall line always between you and the bad thing, and that way you can just kind of move ahead. If it was any more than this, you know, it starts getting time to have a little 15-meter bit of rope with me and stuff like that, just to secure the bits, and maybe, yeah, make sure somebody knows where you are. That's the main thing. This could be really rather good if it does seep out. Little buttressy stuff for beginners, but the real stuff is over there. There we are. Starts to get good. Right in there. We're gonna have a look. So, when you're in sort of really steep terrain like this and scrambling about, that is to say, if you have any business being here at all, it's a very good plan just to think about what you're actually going to do if you do start sliding, so that your brain has at least some kind of picture and that you have some kind of plan. So maybe, I mean, generally if you start sliding and you start tumbling, you want to pull your arms in, protect your head and your neck like this. It's pretty good. Use your bones. Yeah, try to catch things on your muscly parts, not on your bony parts. So use your bones to reinforce your body, and use your muscles to protect your bones. But generally, it's like, are you going to grab something? You might make a barrel roll to the side to get away from the main rocks. So up there, for instance, I would have wanted to barrel roll to the side into less horrible terrain. But basically the idea is not to be then suddenly paralyzed and not know what to do. Have some idea, damage minimization, put yourself in a better position. It's a bit like taking a swim in whitewater. So you want to you might not be able to avoid the swim, you're going to get banged up, but you can still do things and take measures to make the swim least bad. And it's the same here. So going to go down there a little bit now, and then walk along here, because we're getting quite close to the spot. Now we're starting to get there. Look at these nice seeps up here with nice fat top roping trees at the top. So you've got one here, there's another one coming down here, and then there's all that. And then at the back there, there's a little waterfall. Maybe that freezes up in the winter as well. Who knows? It looks like it. It's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, we will see. Certainly it's very nice. So here's a good example, right? So the path, or the GEMS track, goes along here, and I do want to go down towards this little spire, but I really don't like that at all. So what I'm going to do, well, I mean what it looks like is like go here and then down that way, but I will actually take advantage of these two full line protectors and go directly down and then traverse across there and have a look. You just have to be willing to go up and down a bit, but always considering what you're going to do. It really is nice in here though. Amazing. Amazing. Yes. Very groovy. Needless to say, you're either moving or you're looking and filming. And I only ever film when I'm in a safe place. Do not die taking a selfie, right? So, new rule. People who die taking selfies do not get to go to Valhalla. Yeah? Because it's just plain stupid. And we don't need stupid in Valhalla. Got it? Ooh, and look at this on the south side. That looks quite promising. Quite promising indeed. So it's about actually several factors. So likelihood of a fall, consequence or likelihood of an incident, consequence of an incident, and most important though also is the ability to recover from error. So you're going to make an error, so what the plan B is going to be, and then what plan B would look like and how likely it would be for plan B to actually succeed. these are the things you must take into consideration. And just remember that your 30% last bit belongs to your mom. So always, if you say, yep, that's fine, ask yourself, would it still be fine if I was at, what would be 70% of that? Yes, that's fine. And if you're above that, then it's not fine. You have to have a buffer. So here's a good example, right? I'm considering whether I want to make this little step so I can get up there to look at this. And so I point out and make sure I've got all my steps to the next safe place sorted out. I look at the most horrible place where an accident could happen and look at the consequence of that, which would be if I fell all the way, slip and drop into that pool, which would be an absolute bummer. So then I look at what actually would it take to cause that to happen. And could I have a plan B to stop myself? And really look at the fall line. And I notice that in the fall line there's this and that and here, so I could just adjust my trajectory to make sure that when I'm making that move, I stay well left. So if I slip, I'm just slipping into this little crater here where there's lots and lots of ways for me to stop. So that's what you have to do each time. You have to do it, or else you really have no business being here. And if you don't know whether you have any business being here, then just assume you don't. So I got up into that little slot here, and I started to look at the footholds that I was going to want to use to get up there. It's only a little, like meter high, but it would be very, very difficult to reverse it. So actually, the danger isn't in getting up. The danger is in being able to reverse it. And so, that now, for me, becomes a no-go. The objective was to get underneath here to be able to take a picture of it and get the GPS location. I can do that just as well from this here. I'm not going to make the step. So in each moment, judge carefully, carefully, carefully. Don't get target fixated, because that leads to dumbness. Yep, so that's enough for me for today. The main sort of little waterfall step is just around the corner up here. I'm really interested at this buttress here. And this little drip at the side here. And but if there's not all that much light left, and I need to still get back, so I'm going to head down. Did what I wanted to do, got all my locations, and now it's time to be smart and get to safe haven, a cup of tea, maybe even have a birra. We will see. Any case, be careful out there. So, likelihood, consequence, plan B, recovery from error, 30%, the last 30% belong to your mom, and no idiots in Valhalla. Don't be stupid for a ball. See you along the way. Yes, but I shall have a cup of coffee first because hydration is important. And this is a nice spot. So, good. Yeah, here comes the fog. Just in time. So I'm really out of the main kind of steep area now. And what I actually do, I learned it from technical diving. So I turn around when I feel I'm at about a third of my endurance. 1/3. So 1/3 in, 1/3 out, and 1/3 buffer. Recommend you do the same. This way you have maximum enjoyment. You know that you're fine. You're lots and strong and enjoying the return trip. And you've got what you need in the way of buffer. It's just a good habit. Plus it also means that, you know, if you turn back at, say, 1/3 also of the time that you would have, then you don't have to rush, right? And always have a good head torch. And so I have a head torch, I have a means of making fire, I have a down jacket, I have a means of communicating, which here is GPS. I have a sacket, which is essentially 2 staying alive cold kit. So it's 2 Mylar space blankets. One I can wear as a poncho. It's got a slit in it with a bit of tape and a couple of candles and some stormproof matches. And I just put it over my head like a poncho, and I light the candle underneath, sit on my backpack and wait. I mean, you can sit on an economy class chair for 8 hours. You can sit on your backpack for 8 hours. And with a candle underneath, very quickly, inside will be about +20, no matter what is happening outside. And I take 2 Mylar space blankets. One is the poncho, and then the other one I can make a hat or some gloves or some socks, or I make a rain skirt. 2 little space blankets, 3 little tea lights, and some storm matches in a little plastic bag in the bottom of every backpack. Yes. Being smart is quite clever. And then also in this kind of terrain, sometimes up, sometimes down, there's always a good way to go. A matter of picking your territory. And this territory, I must say, is very nice. Very nice. Woohoo! Yes, looking forward to getting on the bike. Yes, yes, yes. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, other thing. 3 pairs of gloves. A working pair, a thin pair of warm gloves for in camp, and a really heavy duty pair of emergency gloves that stay in the bottom of the bag. I've also got 3 layers of head covering and plenty of food and in the top of my pack a tourniquet. A tourniquet. Combat Application Tourniquet. Wie gesagt, keine Idioten in Valhalla. Have a good one, guys. I'm heading down. So, back at the bike now. One last thought on the gear thing. If you're going to rely on crampons for your safety and well-being, make sure you have some way of tying them to your foot if the primary binding should fail. In my case, I've got plenty of cordage and some elastic on my backpack, but if you're really going to rely on them, make sure it's redundant. Keine Spacken in Valhalla. Back up there, have a beer. So, boys and girls, I really liked playing outside today. I'm really pleased that you could join me, and now I'm going to go for a little bomb down the hill, and it's all good. Woo! Schnitzel time for me.